Hey Shakers, and welcome to Worth Your Salt, the podcast that shakes up your marketing game in the health and wellness industry. Worth Your Salt is brought to you by Salt Marketing. Salt Marketing helps health and wellness practitioners build trust and authority to attract a steady stream of inbound wellness seekers. For more information, you can visit us online at saltmarketing.co. I'm Jennifer Orechwa, Story Brand Certified Guide, Marketing Strategist with Salt Marketing, and your host for today's episode of Worth Your Salt. Now, managing the complexity of your growing practice while staying focused on delivering exceptional care can bring some unique challenges. From juggling tasks across multiple platforms to endless window switching between appointments, calendars, and to-do lists, inefficiency can sap your energy and derail growth. A project management platform that transforms chaos into clarity can empower you and your team to work smarter, not harder, freeing up time to focus on what truly matters. So if you've ever wished for a tool to streamline your operations, boost collaboration, and keep your goals on track, you're in for a treat today. Joining me today on Worth Your Salt is John Furneaux, CEO and co-founder of Hive, a company that is revolutionizing the way teams work together. With a stellar track record in customer success, John has helped organizations like Disney, NASA, Starbucks, and Uber overcome their most pressing operational challenges. And at Salt Marketing, we're proud to use Hive to run our business efficiently and help our clients grow theirs. So I'm thrilled to explore how Hive's powerful features can be a game changer for health and wellness practitioners working to scale their practice. Get ready to be inspired. John, I am so thankful that you're here today. I'm really looking forward to our conversation.
Thank you for having me, Jennifer. Glad to be here.
And John, you've built your career around improving teamwork and information management, really. So can you explain why mastering these areas is so critical? And I'm thinking specifically for health and wellness practitioners, but really anyone who's working to market their services effectively.
Yeah, I think we live in a complex world now. The team these days, it's not just your internal staff. It's people who influence your brand, suppliers, even for some people, direct customers themselves. I'd argue that smooth collaboration and clear organization, they're not sort of optional nice to haves. They're essential tools to stand out especially in the world you're talking about, a busy market, right? A lot of competition. I think the most important thing that you can do is run a well-oiled machine in all your business processes, and that will manifest in higher performance in terms of marketing, branding, and the experience that folks get.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And before we dive into the platform itself, I'm hoping you could share a little bit about your journey and the challenges that you saw teams facing that really led you to want to create Hive.
Yeah, it's quite simple. I was actually working with the US federal government on getting aid to some of the most sort of painful war-torn parts of the world through USAID. And what drove me mad with frustration was that it was really good-hearted people, a really honorable mission, and we were just absolutely bogged down in red tape. It was impossible to get anything done. It was impossible to have the effects that people were trying to accomplish. And in sheer frustration, I was like, there's got to be a better way. It's the tools that are standing in the way of these people, not their own competence. And that's why I sort of left that organization and went to found Hive to help people easily get their jobs done, get processes done, get to their own goals, not trapped in busy work,
Yeah, that makes sense. And, health and wellness practitioners, which is the majority of our audience, they're in that same situation. They're juggling multiple priorities, including client management and service delivery, and of course, marketing. So what can project management do for someone who is trying to juggle all those different elements of the business?
Yeah, I think of it like an orchestra or like air traffic control. An airport would be a very dangerous place if we didn't have the folks up in the tower moving all the planes around. I think of it like that. Same for the conductor of an orchestra, right? The musicians are incredibly talented, but without the conductor, the music is a mess. So I would argue that project management is your air traffic control for the things you're doing. You have experts in different areas, whether you're a solopreneur or you have a team working together. Everyone is excellent at what they do. Project management ensures that we get the pieces coming together to get the results we want, that we don't get behind on our plan, that we stick to what we said we would do on marketing, that we stick to our content schedule, that Bob, who is brilliant but sometimes forgets to do stuff, that Bob is held accountable. We can see whether Bob has done his stuff or not. That's how I see it. So in one line, I would say every business needs air traffic control, and a really good tool of this type is what powers that.
Yeah. So on that note, what are sort of the common pitfalls or the things that are occurring in a business that sort of leads us to know that we need some sort of solid project management approach?
So I have a sort of somewhat controversial view here. I think the most important thing that most business owners can do is to completely stop. just stop. Give yourself a moment. You're so busy. You are stressed about 15 things. 7 things went wrong yesterday. 3 things already went wrong this morning. And you are working your heart out to get through that list, to prioritize well and do things. But when was the last time that you just woosah'd? Give yourself a moment, look at the big picture, look at why you did this. What was the original purpose? Why will it bring you joy or financial success, whatever the goal is? And you can only stop if you take that space, give yourself that space. So my argument is that the pitfall and the blind spot is in constantly churning the same handle, expecting a smoother outcome or something different. That's the mistake. The mistake is to keep doing things that didn't quite work. Just take the moment, give yourself the space, get things set up cleanly. And I think the time of year when we're speaking now is the perfect time to do so, so that you head into a new year with that calm, clean, mission-driven approach.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And, as founders, as owners, we tend to do the same things over and over again. We think if we just do more of it or we just work harder, when the truth is that we need a system and a process that's going to help us get to our goals. And so what kind of parallels, we obviously use Hive for marketing. We manage a lot of our calendars and things like that through Hive. But what sort of use cases do you see where people really achieve leaps and bounds as entrepreneurs, as solopreneurs? How can we use something like Hive or Hive itself to really organize and systemize and process that information?
Well, number one is accountability. I'm meant to post more frequently on LinkedIn. How could we ensure that I do so? We haven't set up a card that makes me do it every week. Honestly, as I'm saying that, I'm realizing that I should do that the second I stop speaking with you. Accountability is really important, both for ourselves and for those around us. If I were, when the business was smaller, how did I keep accountable? With a good old-fashioned task list, with good old-fashioned deadlines, and knowing when I said I'd do things by. So to your specific point around marketing and people in this space, my number one would be accountability. I set out that 4 weeks from now, I would have raised my audience by 100 people. Don't allow myself to get caught up in the day-to-day work and forget that that was my original goal. A second thing that, speaking directly to product stuff, goals are so valuable. When you're stuck in the minutiae of the day-to-day, you forget what you were originally trying to do. So we are religious at Hive about every single employee has at least one goal that ladders up to the overall organization's goals. Everybody knows why their work matters, not just what we're asking them to do, but why it matters, what it affects. And then when you collect that up the triangle, you end up with shared organizational success. Does that make sense in your world, Jennifer?
It does. And the brilliance of Hive for me is the simplicity of it. That's the thing that really makes sense to us. We're going to take a quick sponsorship break right now. I've got so many more questions though. So when we come back, I want to dive into how Hive helps teams stay organized and focused on those growth driving activities that you mentioned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. At Salt Marketing, we use Hive to manage all of our clients' content calendars. That's been a total game changer for streamlining this process. Hive is a project management tool that goes just beyond to-do lists. It allows us to create dynamic content calendars that are easy to navigate, to share, and to update. We love using Hive because it has features that make planning social media content faster and more efficient. You can set up a calendar view that organizes posts by date, theme, and content type, so it's easy to see your entire plan at a glance. With Hive's color-coded tags, you can categorize posts by type, like promotional, educational, or repurposed, making it quick to spot the mix of content across your 30-day plan. Plus, Hive's task dependencies and due date reminders help you keep your team on track. You can attach files, write notes, even leave comments on each post idea, which is perfect for team collaboration and getting approvals. And since Hive is cloud-based, updates happen in real time, so whether you're on your desktop or mobile, everyone is working from the same up-to-date content calendar. For us, it's been a huge time saver. Our clients don't have to sort through emails or scattered spreadsheets. Content, review, and approval all happens in one place. And it makes it easier to reuse content themes, to repost popular pieces, and keep track of what's been published versus what's upcoming. By using Hive to create and plan and execute content, we're able to stay consistent, authentic, and valuable to our clients' audiences without the stress of daily decision-making. Hive not only makes that possible, but easy. We're back here on the Worth Your Salt podcast. I'm here with John Furneaux, CEO of Hive, and we're exploring how Hive's innovative approach to project management is really empowering businesses like health and wellness practices to grow and thrive by streamlining operations and fostering collaboration. So, John, I really want to know how you referenced before the break that we are laddering up with those goals. So, how can project management and a tool like Hive help us do that? Help everybody see that their work matters?
Yeah, I think that's a great place. So first off, you've got to set your goals. I think that that's one of the most important things that any business owner can do. Where am I trying to get to? The second most important thing is that anybody involved in the organization should have their piece of the pie. Like allow them some ownership. Make sure that you're clear on what the outcome is that you're hoping that they will accomplish. Work with them, help them, coach them, support them. But give them a piece of pie to own. That's fun for all of us and makes our day-to-day enjoyable and purposeful. So number one is set the goals. And then number two is have a really simple format for how you keep track of them. So for what we use at Hive is in everybody's one-to-one with their line manager, it automatically in the meeting includes their personal goals. So even just from a keeping it front of mind standpoint, while I'm speaking with somebody who reports to me about the day-to-day challenges they're facing, we're also reminding ourselves, this is true on Tuesday, this is true on Wednesday morning. But big picture, where we're trying to get to is, and here's our North Star. So for me, it's you need to set the goals. Lots of people haven't, if they're honest, they haven't really done that. Let's do that first. And then number two, let's check in on them on a really, really good cadence. The worst kind of corporate goals are those ones where you dread your review meeting, you drag out the paperwork from the folder, and you look at what you set, 11 months ago, and you think, oh, yes, I did say I would do that. If you're not revisiting a goal once a week, what does it really mean? How can it be influencing your daily choices?
Yeah. And I think a lot of us, some of the challenges there have to do with disparate systems and having different things that are happening in different places, whether you're managing social media or you're managing, a project end to end. So what are some of the features within Hive that help us bring sort of all those disparate tools together?
Yeah, I think that is something that we really have tried to focus on. You made very kind words about sort of simplicity. We aren't sort of like tech nerds ourselves, right? We all came from normal, real life project jobs, and that's what we've tried to build for. If I give you a specific example, the one I just mentioned. Previously in my life, if I had a goal, it would be set in some HR system. And that would be completely separate from maybe a Google Doc where I'm having the meeting with my manager. That's not true in Hive. In Hive, I just lay out my goals and I can include them in the meeting note. Similarly, when we do next steps in meetings, you know how it is. Someone's got them on their notepad, another person's got them on, and you sort of can't quite remember if it was happening. And then the week after you remember. I want to be able to put next steps in my meeting notes that when somebody returns to their desk, there it is on their to-do list. That seems to me to be a much simpler way to do it. So I'm sure there's much more we can do. I'm sure there's much more improvement we can make. But we are trying to give you one screen for your working day. My email is there, my calendar is there, my to-do list is there, my chat is there. I don't have to have that awful tab hell, tab.
Yes. Yeah. And one of the features that we really appreciate in Hive is the different views where we can jump from a Gantt chart to a Kanban view. So talk about that a little bit and how that really facilitates different users and different projects.
Jennifer, we're proud of that. We invented that.
I love it.
What's it called? Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Indeed.
We are delighted that in obviously a very competitive market, there's lots of different people. They've all copied us. So we were the first people to have this idea that it's not just about you seeing it different ways. It's the different human beings just inherently prefer different things. So what I have found is the people who are visual and creative, they often love those Kanban boards. You know what I mean? Nice big cards going from left to right. Then you have the people who kind of come from like a math kind of background. They're accountants or they're tax or what else. They like it like Excel. They just want to see it. Just give it to me straight. Give me a table of data. And then you have the project management people. They come from consulting or they've been, they've done their PMP training. They want a Gantt chart. They want to see dependencies and this and the other. And so I think it's really nice that Bob, Lisa, and Jim, who are from each of those three backgrounds, are working on the same project and they're working on it in the way that they're used to, the way that vibes for them.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a fantastic feature. And some of the collaborative features are also what we appreciate, where we can tag a team member in, or have a task list there that everybody knows what everybody else is doing. So talk about that a little bit. The collaborative nature of the Hive platform.
Well, one thing I think we've needed to work on is a much better mobile app, because I believe that in this day and age, people are on the go, right? You've got working mums who are in the car or traveling, or if they've just got short periods of time to check in for certain things. And I think we had to do a better job on mobile. Secret inside information. Hive Mobile 2.0 will be coming out at the very beginning of the new year, so
I love that. I'm so excited for
weeks
that.
away. And for me, that is. I think mobile is so important in today's world. Yes, sometimes you're sat down at your laptop, but you also want to be able to sort of check something off quickly whilst you're waiting in traffic, or you know what I mean, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's what I think we can do a better job on.
Yeah, we actually very much are looking forward to that feature, as oftentimes it is just a quick one-off. I just need to check this one thing. Someone's tagged you in it. You want to be able to see it on your phone. So I'm really excited about that. Now, you talked a little bit about clear communication, assigning actionable tasks. So talk a little bit about Hive's meeting notes feature. How does that help us really collaborate and follow through on those key decisions that come out of meetings?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's also brand new news here as well. So we've just partnered with Zoom to not only basically to use the AI transcript from Zoom to actually capture that onto your notes as well.
No.
So now you've got like 5 angles. Number one, Hive will automatically listen to your call, and where you take a next step, it makes it for you. You don't even have to write it down. Just if I said to you right now, Jennifer, hey, or you say to me, hey, John, please can you send me an email afterwards with a proposal? It will listen, and before you know it, on your list, you haven't done anything at all. You will have assigned me a task to do. It will be on my list to be done. So that's partnership with Zoom. We're very excited about that. But that adds to the existing stuff, which is we can just write down our agenda and what we're saying. Where we have a next step, you just highlight it and say, turn this into, we call them actions. We like to be sort of positive focused, and that's then something for someone to be done. I can assign it to the person right where I'm at. That's what I'm most excited about. We've also added into notes, this is all very, very recent stuff, nice like charts and widgets and stuff. So when we want to center our conversation, imagine you and I are working together on a brand campaign, and we want to center our conversation around how much is left to be done. Well, it's nice to have a little visual widget saying, here's how far through we are, here's whether we're overdue, how many things are overdue. I want a little widget, like patting me on the back and saying, you know what, John and Jennifer, you're on track for everything, or giving me a kick in the behind, saying, actually, you're a bit behind. Come on, time to pick up and get on track. So the examples I just gave are automatic stuff from Zoom telling us and going grabbing all our next steps in the transcript, but our ability to do it manually either way and say, hey, I'm going to do this. It's attached to the meeting, so we remember who agreed what. And when we get back to our desks, we don't have to think. It's just there on our list, ready to be done.
And talk to me a little bit about templates and the ability to apply templates, create templates, because oftentimes, particularly with marketing, we do the same tasks over and over. And even for health and wellness practitioners, where we're taking care of people, we want to make sure that we, make sure we get all the forms, or we want to make sure that we've gone through every step that we need to. Those action templates can be truly invaluable. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. We templatize everything in our own business, like everything. Think about like new hires. You've got to be really careful. There's 100 pieces to be done. And if you make a mistake, that could be kind of legal consequences, right? If you don't get your workers' compensation correct, or your tax codes correct, or you make sure that you've got all those pieces done, that's important. And the same in marketing, right? A great marketing campaign, you don't miss a channel, right? Each time you make darn sure that if you're chosen, if you're using X, or you're using LinkedIn, or you're using your personal blog, don't rely on your own memory. You're busy enough already.
Right.
Have a little template that reminds you, have you pushed it to all the places you want to push it? Or have you turned it into a case study, for example? Have you used it through all the channels you could have used it for? Have you reminded the subject of your case study that you need them to push it on their channels as well? You know what I mean? So I think that template process is really important. The thing that's gone one step further and we've found really helpful, now I know AI is a very touchy subject, right? Some people really like it, some people worried about it, all that sort of stuff. But I tell you when it really is helpful. When you are starting cold on a problem, what we built into Hive, you just describe what you're trying to do. And our assistant is called Buzz. Obviously, we have to be branded with Hive and honey and bees and all that good stuff. But Buzz will have a go at making the first version of your plan. So to your point around templatizing and making life easier, I'm planning to open a new studio 60 days from now. I might be an expert in my space, expert in marketing. I still don't want to have to write down every single step that I need to do. So I say to Buzz, opening a studio in 60 days, please write me a marketing plan. And before I know it, I've got a start of a 10. It's got 25 steps in there. I can go and change it with my own expertise. But it saved me the hassle of Googling marketing plan and going and writing out every step. So we're very excited about that. So templatize what you already know and use Buzz to come up with ideas for things that are green fields where you have a blank slate.
Yeah. And also, really good for building out proprietary information in terms of, like you were saying, I'm opening a new studio. These are the steps that we personally do as, this particular practice or this particular functionality. We want to make sure that we do it our way. So I love that idea too. All right, John, it's time for another quick break. We're going to be right back after this. Hey, Salt Nation, you're listening to the Worth Your Salt podcast. I'm Jennifer Orechwa, and today I'm talking with John Furneaux, CEO of Hive, a powerful platform designed to help teams stay organized and focused so they can manage the activities that drive growth. We'd love to hear how you're staying on top of the systems and processes that keep your practice thriving. So join Salt Marketing over on Instagram, LinkedIn, or Facebook, and share your favorite tools and strategies for staying organized and scaling your impact. So, John, you've seen thousands of teams transform their productivity with Hive. Can you share a success story or two that kind of demonstrates the power of adopting a platform like Hive?
Yep, simplest one is turnaround time. We generally see a turnaround from about 4 to 5 days to 1 day on getting stuff approved. So whether that's going to a brand consultant or that's going to external agency, get those approval cycles really, really fast. Be consistent, make it happen. That's the so obviously an improvement. If you can get your stuff done faster, it's a darn sight easier. So that's the one I would point to. Get your approvals and workflows working super fast.
So for people who feel, let's just say, overwhelmed by the sheer number of things that they need to do, thinking about converting to Hive might be also another source of overwhelm. So what would you say for somebody who's really just getting started with this and thinking, I've got all these tasks that I need to do. I can't slow down and stop long enough to actually, create these systems.
I don't think many little boys or many little girls dreamed of one day doing project reporting. I don't. And if they did,
I might have. I don't know.
God bless them. They want to be teachers, or they want to show others their craft, or they want to make people healthy, or they want to make things with their hands. People want things like that. They don't want to be doing admin and reporting. What I would say is set your shop up right at the beginning, and you shouldn't have to. Like, these things sort of run themselves. Jennifer, you alluded earlier to that template thing. Don't spend your time trying to remember what Lisa will need as the new hire. Take the time at the beginning to say, okay, what do we want a great new hire experience to look like? That might be we give them a nice t-shirt or swag. That might be that they need that we help them with their phone subscription or their device. Figure that out at the beginning, stick it into a process, and make it so that when a new person joins, you press one button and all that work is done. It also means, especially for those who are solopreneurs or in a very small team, you can outsource this stuff. If you know what good looks like and you've written it down, maybe now you can get it done for $15 an hour versus it being stress on your plate. But you can't trust that person to do it without knowing the way that you want to do it. So get it written down. Now you can give it to somebody else and focus your time back towards the stuff that you were passionate about and that you were excited to do when you were young.
So talking about that, standard operating procedures, playbooks, whatever we call them, everybody has different names for them. But how does that help businesses scale? And I'm thinking particularly with health and wellness practitioners where, they may be looking ahead to, I want to add team members, I want to be able to serve more clients. How can that help with scalability?
I would argue because nobody's ever going to be quite as good as the person who did it the first time.
Truth,
right?
Truth,
But
yes.
there is a bit of founder magic, and that's very exciting. So what is your job? Your job is to enable other people to do it a really good way, right? Not perfect, but a really good way. If you don't write down how you do things, how are you ever going to delegate them to somebody else and have them be done in a really good way? You remember how you opened your first studio. You remember what went well and what didn't went well. Capture it and remember how you did it. Because if you want to open 5 studios, you can take 5 years to do it. Do one at a time and go at that pace. But if you want to open 5 this year, I'm sorry, you're going to need help. And when you get that help, they're going to need to know what was successful in the way you did your first one. Why was your first one successful? Because of the magic. And you need to pass that magic on. Think about Starbucks. If you read the Starbucks story, it's all about that first shop in Seattle. And when the CEO returned in the second stint, first thing he did was revisit that shop and fix that one shop, and then rolled out those improvements across the nation's stores. But it all came down to that one example, getting it right, and then replicating that at scale.
I love that. Is there any sort of mindset shift that you would recommend for someone who's considering a solution like this, who does want to open 5 new studios in the new year? Is there any sort of thought process or mindset that you would recommend considering?
Well, Jennifer, I defer to you as the expert in the room on here. I can offer the tooling to make sure that whatever your plan is, it stays on track, it gets done on target, on budget, and it supports the business. For the content of that plan, Jennifer, I would come to you.
Beautiful. Very good. So I know you're really excited about the integration with Zoom, also the mobile capabilities. What else is ahead for Hive? What's on the horizon?
We want you to do what you love. We are weird. We do love the boring stuff, or we love. And you know what it is? We don't love the boring stuff. We love making tools that sort the boring stuff out for people, that allow them to go back to what their dreams were, what they want, what they're good at, what they're talented at. So I'm excited about, yes, using some of the AI innovation to get as many boring things out of your day as humanly possible. So the Zoom thing's a good example. Automatically suggesting what's up next is a good example. Making plans for you when you just give me the outline and I give you the plan. These are the things that excite us and power us moving forward. Buzz as the assistant, we want to put an executive assistant into everybody's pocket. So you don't need to hire and spend the money on that EA. You've got Buzz in your pocket. And as Buzz becomes smarter and smarter and smarter, it's as if you've got a 24/7, smart intern. Buzz isn't going to be as good as you, but Buzz can be a smart intern. And that's what we're excited about.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. For people who are listening in and would like to learn more, where can people connect with you? What is Hive's website? All of those good things. Where can we find you?
Yeah, anybody can email directly. That's my first name, John, at our company domain. I don't want to accidentally say it and then it gets picked up by the spam people.
That's fine.
But yes, feel free to email me directly. Our website is hive.com, and we welcome you to the family. We are democratically built, so anybody who joins Hive joins democracy. You can vote for Hive's direction, vote for the features you want to see. We love that. That's how we power everything. It's a big old community, and we love building this thing together.
Yeah, we love that about you as well. Of course, all of the links to Hive's website, John's LinkedIn profile, and all the ways that you can connect will be available on our website at saltmarketing.co. But right now, it is time for our lightning round questions. These are a few quick questions that I like to ask of every guest. John, are you ready?
Yes.
All right. So my first question is, what's something about you that often surprises people?
When I was young, I was a national champion in archery.
Oh, very nice. Do you still shoot arrows? Are you still doing that?
It is a secret that my family doesn't know that I'm secretly taking us archery on the day before Christmas.
Very nice. All right. All right. So now we all know it. So what is your favorite thing about the work that you do at Hive?
Running payroll. The reason I do that is because I take tremendous pride that anybody who's created a business is allowing people to do things that matter. Roof over their head, food on the table, activities for children. I think it's the greatest honor that we have as business owners.
I agree. And I think that we all sort of feel that sense of responsibility and that sense of pride when we are able to empower people to do what they love to do and be successful in that way. All right, next question. What's the best piece of advice that you've ever been given?
Don't let perfect be the enemy of good.
I love that one.
Better done than procrastinated. Give it your best shot, do the best you can.
And Hive is the perfect example because you can iterate and build on like the good idea that goes from there. So I love that. All right, last question. Who is inspiring you right now? What podcast are you listening to, or maybe what's the best book you've read recently?
I'm a massive Dan Ariely fan. Predictably Irrational. It's a classic, but it's brilliant. You can reread it 100 times and learn something new. When it comes to marketing, it reminds us that financial incentives are not the only thing that drives human behavior. It's a fascinating book. I won't speak for Dan Ariely. I would recommend it to anybody. It helps you think about how to influence people's behavior without always having to spend dollars to do so.
I love that. We'll link that up in the show notes as well. John, thank you so much for joining me for this week's episode of Worth Your Salt.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, Jennifer.
I want to thank you, Salt Nation. If you've got a great success story, I'd love to talk with you and share your story. So tell us about why you are worth your salt by emailing us at grow@saltmarketing.co. Of course, be sure to subscribe to the Worth Your Salt podcast so you never miss an episode. Finally, leave us a review or give the show a handful of stars wherever you get your content. That's all for this episode of Worth Your Salt. Be sure to join me again next time. In the meantime, let's get out there and shake things up. And that was perfect. We are.
Was that okay?
Yeah, it was great.
Dude, your salt branding stuff is so cool. Shakers, Worth Your Salt.
We get a little themey sometimes. But,
no, I love it. I mean, we do a similar kind of shtick around the, obviously, hive and bees and honey and that kind of thing. Yes. But just so you know, it's the first time I've heard it. It's really cool. The podcast is Worth Your Salt. Our newsletter is Pinch of Salt. Nice.
Our client portal where people can log in and get their resources is the Salted Edge, like the edge of your margarita glass. It's edge.saltmarketing. Yeah, so we have a lot of fun with all of that.